New tax on cruise passengers sparks concern in Cozumel's tourism sector. The government of Quintana Roo and the business community of Cozumel, recognized as Mexico's top cruise destination and the second most important worldwide after Miami, have publicly called for the Senate and federal government to reconsider proposed reforms to the federal rights law. These amendments include a $42 fee, approximately 860 pesos, for each cruise passenger arriving at Mexican ports. If implemented, this measure could remove Mexican ports from cruise line itineraries, severely impacting the local economy. The first step in opposing this measure was taken by Michelle Page, CEO of the Caribbean Cruise Association, FCCA, who sent a letter to Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum expressing concerns. In her letter, Page emphasized that the proposed fee would increase docking costs at Mexican ports by 213%, making them uncompetitive compared to other Caribbean destinations. The Caribbean Business Coordinating Council, CCEC, supported the FCCA's position and highlighted the strategic importance of Quintana Roo, home to the country's two most significant cruise ports, Cozumel and Mahahual. Combined, these ports receive 57% of all cruise ship arrivals in Mexico. In January 2024 alone, Cozumel, with a population of just 90,000 residents, accounted for 49.3% of passengers arriving at the country's 15 ports, underscoring its importance to the national tourism sector. Cozumel is also known as the world's second busiest cruise port, trailing only Miami. In 2023, the island generated $341 million in economic revenue, and from January to September 2024, it added nearly $300 million more. The proposed fee would make Cozumel 3 times more expensive for cruise passengers than other Caribbean ports, jeopardizing its position on international cruise routes. Quintana Roo Governor Mara Lezama revealed that discussions have been held with senior officials from the Ministry of Finance and Public Credit, SHCP, the Ministry of Tourism, Sector, and the National Migration Institute, INM, to outline the economic repercussions these reforms would have on Cozumel and Mahahual. Meetings were also held with the FCCA, considered a strategic ally for Mexican Caribbean tourism, to discuss potential mechanisms for implementing the fee, which could take effect in January 2025. The cruise lines are asking how the fee would be collected, who would be responsible for payment, and whether implementation could be postponed since many trips for 2025 have already been sold, Lezama explained. She added that, while the federal government's need to increase revenue is understood, it is crucial to maintain balance and competitiveness in a state where tourism is the primary economic driver. The governor emphasized that Quintana Roo's goal is to establish a dialogue between cruise lines and the federal government to create clear operating rules that benefit all parties. Meanwhile, Carmen Joaquin, president of the Business Coordinating Council in Cozumel, warned that the fee, officially called the Right of Non-Resident Visitors Without Remunerated Activities, DNR, which cruise passengers are currently exempt from, would have devastating effects on the island's competitiveness. This fee fails to account for the fact that cruise passengers only spend a few hours in Mexico as part of broader Caribbean itineraries. We ask senators to carefully review this proposal and consider the following: postpone the implementation of the fee so cruise lines can adjust their financial plans, adjust the fee proportionally to the time cruise passengers spend in Mexican territory, and most importantly, ensure that a portion of these funds is allocated directly to the municipality of Cozumel for infrastructure projects that benefit the population, Joaquin stated. She highlighted that the island urgently needs investments in essential services such as potable water, drainage, electricity, road repaving, schools, and hospitals. Furthermore, Joaquin pointed out that cruise passengers spend an average of 5 to 6 hours in ports like Cozumel and Mahahual, in contrast to international tourists who stay for several days. Despite this, the reforms propose charging them the same fee, which is disproportionate. Joaquin also mentioned other increases that add pressure to the island's tourism competitiveness. These include a recent 100% hike in fees to access protected natural areas, ANPs, of which Cozumel has 7. Additionally, she noted the rise in the environmental sanitation fee, DSA, which increased from 30% to 70%. This fee is applied to overnight tourists and passed on to the consumer, ultimately raising the cost of the overall tourism product. Finally, Joaquin urged that these reforms be carefully analyzed to prioritize the economic sustainability of tourist destinations and ensure that the measures do not discourage international visitors. The proposed reform to the federal rights law threatens to destabilize the economy of Cozumel and other Mexican ports by significantly increasing costs for cruise passengers. While both the government of Quintana Roo and the business sector have voiced their opposition, the latter has been particularly vocal in calling for a thorough review and the establishment of fair rules to protect Mexico's competitiveness in the cruise market, which is a vital pillar for tourism in the Mexican Caribbean. Cozumel 4U readers, we invite you to share your opinions on this issue.